friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots.
We do a morning show now. You've heard me talking about it, I'm sure, if you've been listening for any length of time. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we do a morning show. We release it at 8 a.m., and it's just supposed to be a quick snapshot, 20 to 30 minutes of what's going on inside the Fort Worth community with call-ins from people just like you that have information they want to disseminate amongst the public. So if you have something that you want to get out, whether you're an artist, a musician, an author, and you got a gig coming up, you got an event, whatever it is, take an audio recording on your phone and email it to us, media@fortworthroots.com. And if that's too complicated, it doesn't sound as good, but you can also just pick up the phone and dial 817-988-1292. That is a Fort Worth Roots hotline. Leave us a voicemail and let us know what you got going on. We will play it on the next show. Monday through Thursday, we film it right there at Hoppin, the new place right next to Doc's Records that you need to go check out. Very excited about this place. Holly and Michael, wonderful local people that just really want you to come check out their new badass little spot. So, Hoppin's right next to Doc's Records off of Weisenberger Street. I believe it's 2608 Weisenberger. Easy peasy. We got a great episode for you today. Before we dive into that, I've already told you about the morning show, so we can stop droning on about that. But it's picking up popularity, and I appreciate you guys for making that part of your morning drive or whatever you're doing on the AM. And everybody that's called in, we appreciate you too. I want to tell you about a couple of sponsors real quick. The Davis Team. This is our option for real estate inside the Fort Worth area. You can go to yourdavisteam.com or call them at 817-755-0504. And they are not just there to sell and buy homes for you. They will answer any kind of property questions you have. More about our sponsors at the end of this, by the way, along with events and things. All the updates are at the end of the show. The Body Scrubbery. Our friend Michelle is ready to take care of you over there at her badass little spa. We've got some videos showcasing this place on our Instagram. Go check that out. The Body Scrubbery on all the social medias. And the website is thebodyscrubbery.com. And, of course, our newest sponsor, Fort Worth Float Company. Find them on Instagram as FW Float Company, and it'll take you right to it. It's a badass little place they got. I need to probably quit calling everything so badass. They specialize in providing sensory deprivation flotation tanks. And if you have never checked this out, you need to go experience this. I think they do 60-minute and 90-minute packages, various pricing. And anyway, they have two different tanks. One is a smaller one for an individual, and then they have a larger one, which you can use by yourself as well, but it's big enough for two people. It's massive, size of a room. Fort Worth Float Company meets everyone's floating needs, and they're located off of River Oaks Boulevard, right as you're coming into River Oaks if you're driving away from the military base. All right, that's enough talking out of me. Please give it up for our newest sponsor, Fort Worth Float Company. That's not who we're interviewing today. We're interviewing the owner, the proprietor. You can find them on Instagram at FW Float Company. And this is the best place to do something like this in a very broad area. Like if you did a big search, you'd want to save your time because this is the best place to go do something like that at 5934 River Oaks Boulevard, just kind of in the middle of all this Fort Worthness. Please give it up for our friend Kevan, the owner of Fort Worth Float Company, and let's start the show. Kevan with the Fort Worth Float Company. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, thanks.
Thanks for having us in here. Hopefully I'm not messing up your schedule today.
No, it's my day off, so we're good.
That sounds like I'm messing up your schedule.
Well, the thing about my day off is it gets filled up with everything else I couldn't do during
Right.
not days off.
The joys of being a business owner, right?
Yeah, right.
Crank that microphone just a little closer to your mouth there.
Good.
Yeah, that's good. See if we'll bend it up just a little bit. There we go. Yeah. All right. So we had an exciting announcement, and as people are listening to this now, it would have gotten shown to them a couple of weeks ago, but Fort Worth Float Company is now a sponsor of the Fort Worth Roots brand, the music series, the podcast. So thank you.
Of course, glad to be aboard.
I want to get into the story a little bit so that we can tell people stuff that they might not know about it. You know, as they're rushing up and down River Oaks Boulevard, they if they even look this direction, they don't get the story. So I wanted to dial it all the way back to 8 years ago before this all started. What gave you the idea to tackle this thing as an entrepreneur?
Well, from the very beginning, I first saw floating on an episode of The Simpsons when I was a kid.
Okay.
And, Homer and Lisa went to go do it, and she had a great experience, and then Homer somehow got put in a garbage truck and fell down a mountain or something. But after that, many years after that, me and my wife went to go do it one year for my birthday because I found there was a place in Dallas and just decided to finally go try it. And at the time, I was a preschool Montessori teacher.
Okay.
And very stressed.
Here in Fort Worth?
Yes.
Okay.
And just very stressed and burnt out with that. And also, at the time, having my own kids. So it was really just kids all the time. And immediately, I just saw how much it did for me mentally, having that time to turn everything off and not have to deal with any stress or stimulation for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So just right away saw how good it was for me and wanted to provide that for other people. And there wasn't any place in Fort Worth, so I wanted to bring it here.
Yeah. And I didn't realize how rare and unique that is to the area, but there's up until, I think we talked about this earlier, but up until just a few weeks ago, you guys were the only float option in Fort Worth. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And now we've got some out-of-towners, some big corporate boys coming in here with their non-Fort Worth, non-Cowtown, non-Panther City float tanks. And so here we are.
Yeah.
So tell people a little bit about the health benefits. What in no certain terms, you told us that it's done a lot for you, your mental health, and can you kind of expand on that and explain to somebody that doesn't quite get it what that's like? What kind of benefits are you seeing?
Well, I mean, for people unfamiliar with floating, it's pretty much the same as sensory deprivation, although the industry is kind of moving away from that term because it sounds a little intimidating and scary for new people.
Sounds great if you're out being sensory overloaded every day.
Right, and which we are. But, basically you're floating in salt water that's heated to about skin temperature, and if you choose, there's no light or sound coming in. So just getting a break from all the physical and mental stimulation and distractions for a while. Mm-hmm. And what it did for me personally was, like I said, just getting a break from everything. But the major benefits I saw were, first of all, I slept much better every night after doing it. And as far as family life goes, I was just more patient with my kids and everything. Kind of I think a good way to describe it is like adding an extra layer of patience.
Yeah.
With them and everything else. Just, it was harder for anything to bother me. And everything felt a lot clearer after doing it. It kind of balancing everything out. You've got all the overload in the normal day-to-day life, which we can't avoid. And then the opposite of turning it all off. So once you get out, everything feels really fresh and new and more clear again.
Yeah. What's the longest you've ever been in one of those tanks?
It's a good question and a good story. At our old location, and we're here at my second one, I moved about 5 years ago, and just because it was time to expand and have more than one tank. But the old one, the tank was controlled by the computer, like had a timer and everything on there. And somehow the tank lost connection with the network.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was in there and I woke up and just didn't know what time it was and decided to check, and I was in for about 2.5 hours. So
okay, that's not as bad as I thought. I was thinking like, what is it, HAL 9000 or whatever? Hello, Dave. I'm feeling much better. Like it trapped you in there, and now you're its prisoner.
Yeah. No, it really just showed me how much I needed it that day.
Yeah.
I was just out for the whole time.
Wow, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just clueless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Mike, so I'm fascinated by the idea of sensory deprivation and being taken away from community. You know, you hear these scenarios where this guy was living out in the woods by himself for 18 years, never had any human contact. And to a lot of people, that sounds like the scariest thing ever. But to me, that sounds like a really good vacation.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is being confined to an area where you don't get any kind of stimulation. There's a video that I saw a week or two ago, and it's this guy in this completely white out room. Everything in the room is as plain as possible. If it's not white, then it's a very subdued color. And he's supposed to sit in this room without leaving for like 2 days to see if he can handle it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that sounds relaxing. That sounds great. So I don't know. I wonder what the real limits are on social separation and sensory deprivation, because I don't know if I believe that if you were in an area of sensory deprivation, you know, they talk about these quiet rooms
Right.
that are so sound deadened that if you're in there for more than 15 minutes, you'll lose your mind.
Yeah.
Again, that sounds relaxing.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I've heard with those, though, it's so quiet you can hear your blood flowing, which does sound kind of weird.
How long does it take to get used to that?
Right.
How long does it take to get used to anything?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Anyway, I'm willing to try it out. One of those sound rooms, or 18 years in a cabin all by myself, just me and the bears.
Right.
Which I will fight with my hands. Yes. That's one of those things that's been going around with those internet things. Like, did you know that there's like a 2% of all males or something like that think they can fight a grizzly with their bare hands?
Yeah.
They just have never seen a grizzly, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen
it's a truck with knives for hands.
pretty much, one of those memes where it has the strategy for fighting a grizzly bear, and 6 or 7 panels, and the last one is wake up and realize that you're not going to die.
That you died in the first.
Yeah, right.
That you died in the first frame.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about float, man. What's the best way for somebody to get started with this? Because for somebody like me, I mean, I floated with you at your original location 5 years ago, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I went in there, okay, got in the tank, did probably 90 minutes, whatever your max was back then.
Yeah.
And then I got out and I left, and that was it, and I never came back. So for an uneducated person, I think I didn't really know what was going on. So I followed the minimal amount of instruction, basically took a bath and left. But how do you encourage people to approach this whenever they come in for the first time? Because I remember my state of mind that day, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was trying to find like something that could get me out of the rage state I was in. So I was in the worst mental state possible whenever I came in that day, and I didn't want to talk. And I think that probably right there we've discovered why it had no effect on me. But what do you tell people before they come in here whenever they're going to experience this place for the first time?
Well, how you approach it is a big part of the experience. And I believe with you thought it'd be more of like a psychedelic experience.
I was expecting something, and I don't know what it was,
right.
but I know that with everything I had going on at that time in my life, and it was right before I started this show, so it's probably more like 6.5, 7 years ago. But it's a real dark place, and I was looking for any way to like just get myself to regulate my breathing. Would have been nice,
right.
just to get myself out of this like constant state of panic. And I'm your typical Texan male, I guess, and I'm not asking anybody for help. I'll figure it out myself.
Yeah.
So I started going through my checklist of things I could try.
Well, you touch on an important part is the expectations. Some people do come in with the same idea you had, expecting it to be a lot more, not more than it is, but
immediate.
Yeah, immediate. But like I tell everybody now, just use this as time to not have to do anything. I think that's kind of the foundation of all of it, because we're always so busy. We have things to do, checklists like you mentioned, and just use that time to just slow down and be still and not have any stress or stimulation. And then really your first float is just teaching yourself how to relax. But once you do it 2 or 3 times and really get comfortable and used to the environment, that's when it takes off for most people.
Because it's a little unnatural, I think, for most people. Now, the amount of salt in there, you automatically float better than you would in just a regular body of water, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, my wife, she doesn't know how to swim, and like I said, we did this together for the first time. And here, depending on which tank you use, it's anywhere from 600 to 1,200 pounds of Epsom salt. So it is so dense that you float with no effort, and it's impossible to sink.
1,200 pounds of salt?
Right.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because folks watching the video right now, they can't see, but you've got a wall of what appear to be 50-pound bags of salt.
Right.
Is that about what that is?
Yeah, I've got 9 50-pound bags there, which is almost enough to fill one of the tanks.
Almost.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn. So that's an important part of the experience, but it's also, from what you described earlier, part of the sanitation as well.
Right.
Right. That's what keeps the water clean, is having all that high level of salt in there.
Yeah, and that's another question I have a lot is how clean is it? Which, with this high salinity solution, usually we call it solution, not water, really nothing biological can grow in it. And of course, I have other sanitation and cleaning methods on top of that.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that it gets cycled. I guess that means filtered 4 times, and then incorporating UV light and some other methods as well.
Yeah, each of the tanks has a cartridge filter, so all the water runs through there at least 4 times in between each use, and then it's kind of zapped with ozone and UV to keep everything even more clean.
Yeah. I can see how that'd be a question for people, but we were joking earlier about how you smell that overwhelming chlorine smell coming out of the hot tub when you go into, like, I won't mention any names because I don't want to get in trouble, but the big 24-hour gyms that have hot tubs. You walk in there and you smell it. It's almost overwhelming, the chlorine. And you were telling me earlier that that's not actually the chlorine you're smelling. That is the scent that you get from when chlorine is breaking down biological material.
Right.
So the reason that you can smell that chlorine so much is not because it's clean. It's because it's got a bunch of material in it.
Because it's getting clean, but it's not there yet.
Right. It's breaking stuff down.
Yeah.
And so anyway, you've got your cold plunge tub in here, and it's got chlorine in it, but when you walk into that room, you can't smell it.
Right. Yeah, I use the chlorine like you mentioned, and also once a week I drain the whole thing, refill all the water, and replace the filter on that.
Uh-huh.
So between those 3 things, it really never has a chance to get dirty.
Uh-huh. Can you tell me about, because you've got a bunch of different stuff here. You got the most badass NASA quality massage chair I've ever seen. You've got the what's the hood that you put on, the relaxation mask?
Yeah, one of my more minor services is called a brain tap. It's basically a guided meditation. So, like you said, it's a headset, and there are lights that go over your eyes and over your ears that kind of mimic brain waves.
Uh-huh.
So whatever program you pick, whether it be relaxing or sleeping better or motivation, once the meditation starts playing, it kind of mimics the brain waves and gets you deeper into that experience.
Okay. So you got brainwave, is that what you called it?
Brain tap.
Brain tap, the chairs. You got the cold tub plunge, you got the sauna, infrared, and you got the 3 different tubs of varying sizes and capabilities.
Right.
Is there a package that you guys offer where somebody could come in, say 5 times a week, and use your facility however they saw fit, or how does that work?
It's more service based. So I have packages for either the floating or the sauna or cold plunge, or the sauna and cold plunge together.
Uh-huh.
But my best offer is always for the memberships. But if you do one of those, you'll always get a good discount on the other services.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have like a entry level new person trial pack or something?
I do have kind of some intro packs for either 2 or 5 floats.
Okay.
So if you're not sure about the membership yet, then usually those are the best way to go.
Try those out. You'd say 2 to 5 are those 90-minute floats, or
90 or 60.
90 or 60? Cool. Where are you guys doing most of your social media content? Instagram?
Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, I never figured out Twitter, so just those two.
You know, me and you both. I don't know. When's enough? I got TikTok, I got Instagram, and of course, because of my age, I got Facebook, I guess. But there are still things that you can do on Facebook that you can't do on any other platform, like Facebook groups or events, things like that. So I don't see Facebook going away until somebody buys Facebook, changes the name, and gets rid of censorship. But yeah, I don't think Facebook is going anywhere.
I don't think so.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't need Twitter. Yeah. You can keep it. It's not even Twitter anymore.
I know.
I just can't bring myself to call it X because it sounds dumb.
Yeah. We're too old to change our minds now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Can't teach me any new tricks. But it'll, the downfall of society, but it's also the necessary evil for anybody in business for themselves, right? I mean, how else do you get your message out?
Yeah, if I didn't have this place, I wouldn't have any social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not good for you. No. You need a float tank.
Yeah.
If you're going to be using social media, then you better float it at least, 3 times a week?
Yeah. That's a big part of just floating is getting away from your phone for a while.
Just setting the thing down. I love telling people this story, and it's actually a little bit disappointing because I learned something and then I never practiced it. Went down to Mexico. We're in Playa del Carmen. I was down there for 5 or 6 days. Got there and put the phone inside the safe that was in the room. Locked that thing up, and I didn't touch my phone for 4 days.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was so relaxed. And of course, this is one of the most beautiful places that you could ever travel to. Perfect beaches, a swimming pool that could eat 2 football fields, swim up bar. The weather was perfect. Not one blade of grass was out of compliance. It was just perfect. And there were 4 or 5 meals a day. And there was always some dude running around with like a grill on a cart, and he would make you a fresh burger right there. Just like he would just float by and be like, "Hey man, want a burger?" You'd be like, "Yep," and he'd make you the best burger you'd had in a long time right there, wherever you happen to be at. So I had all that going for me, but I swear to God, the thing that really made the trip was putting my phone in that safe for 4 days, because at the time I had 2 businesses and I was working 120 hours a week. I mean, you know how it is. It's just nonstop. But yeah, getting away from your phone. So that's got to be one of the big benefits to just
absolutely
the big scary term, sensory deprivation.
Right.
Man, I'm really excited about this. I'm so thankful to have you on as a sponsor for this movement. We're here to support small businesses like yourself and remind folks that, you've got options. You can shop from every store outside of Fort Worth. You can get all sorts of products from Amazon, and you can shop at these places that take our money and pump it to other organizations, states outside the community. Or you can go onto websites like fortworthroots.com, hit the Trusted Sponsors tab, and you can see the people that are right here in your neighborhood providing better services at a comparable price, and they care about you because you're their neighbor. Amazon doesn't care about you. You go to Cheddar's to eat at one of these big chain restaurants, they don't care about you. It's all ones and zeros. So we encourage people to shop locally, and you guys embody our mission, and so we're here for it. And also, this partnership is going to allow us to put another band on stage for our Fort Worth live music series that kicks off in March. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that really attracted me to what you do. Is I grew up here in Fort Worth. I lived here my whole life except for maybe 3 years in college, and moved abroad for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now that I own this, I see how important it is for small local businesses, because it seems like it's getting more challenging for those to survive, and there are just less and less of them, especially after COVID.
Yeah, it's wild, and everybody is kind of scratching their head right now trying to figure out how we get it back to normal. But there was a big shift in 2020, and I think that nobody left. We have more people in Fort Worth than we did before 2020.
Right.
Can we all agree? Yeah. We can agree. So what changed? Well, we could make the argument that, well, people's expendable income isn't about, it's not where it was. That's true. We're 4 years down the road, inflation, and it hasn't been easy. But I think the big change is that people got comfortable not going to the store, ordering stuff online, Grubhub, Uber Eats, all these different little delivery services. There's no reason to go out. Well, it's killing the live music scene, and it's destroying these small businesses because you're getting everything online. So you don't need me preaching to you, and I get that. But I do want to point out to folks, like, if we don't support, let's say there's another option besides Fort Worth Float. If we don't support them and you go to this out-of-town outfit, then Fort Worth Float, it might not make it without your support. I mean, if 100% of the traffic is going to the guy that came here from another town, then that doesn't leave anything for our locals. And that's just a direct example. But, the restaurants, the bars, the venues, everything, if you're not paying attention, I'll be the first one to tell you, you'll have 3 or 4 venues closed down in 1 week. And then it just kind of happens in waves. But it's alarming to see this. And we individually have to make a conscious decision to say, look, I know it would be easier to just pull out my phone and order this thing real quick. But I'm going to wait until tomorrow on my way back from work, and I'm going to stop by this one place, and I'm going to pick up that one thing, And I know that's a clunky example, but you guys get what I'm saying. And so every time we get on stage for the live music series, we try to promote that. And but you really are just one voice, and you've got social media, the news channels, everything around everybody, even on the radio, is telling them where to shop, where to get their stuff. And they're not talking about the local guys. Right. So our mentality has changed a lot since 2020, and it feels intentional, and I blame the aliens, and I just want it to stop.
Same. And, touching on a lot of things you said there, one of the things that I work really hard at here, and I think sets me apart from any other big corporate float centers, is I spend most of my time working here myself, even as the owner, because I want to provide that personal experience, and I want to know everybody who comes in.
Right.
I want them to know me.
And that's most small business owners in Fort Worth.
Yeah. And, also I have a 7-month-old baby. So if you want to feed my baby and her to have clothes, come see me instead of the other guys.
It's 7-month baby, okay?
She's got to eat.
Have a heart.
She's hungry.
You know how much Gerber stuff costs these days? Do y'all use Gerber food? Is that still a thing?
Not Gerber, but we just started on our baby food now.
Because Gerber got in a whole heap of shit there for a minute. Right. Didn't they have like lead in their food or something? Don't quote me. That. Something terrible. It's like, well, I was a Gerber baby, and I made it. That's about all I got on baby food right there. We don't have any babies of our own, but just watching everybody else's from afar and appreciating, at a comfortable distance.
Right. It's understandable. They're a lot of work.
It looks like some work. But you know what? That's the happiest baby I've seen in a long time.
She's very happy.
She was just very content, hanging out. Yeah. Not really, like, right on the verge of taking a really good nap is what it looked like.
My wife sent me a picture from Target a few minutes after she left.
Yeah.
She was out.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, tell folks where they can find you on Instagram one more time.
You can search for Fort Worth Float Company, or I believe the specific handle is FW Float Company on Instagram, and then Facebook, just Fort Worth Float Company.
Excellent. And we've got folks listening to this episode right now. Maybe they're kind of on the fence whether or not they should try it. What would you say to him or them?
Well, we have a lot of great information on our website, and you can always call or email me if you have any questions. And if you really want to get deeper into the science of it all, look for clinical flotation. I think that'll bring up the website, but the website might be clinicalflotation.org. They're based out of Tulsa, and they're actually doing a lot of really cool scientific research on what floating can do for people. So if you really want to get deep into the science of it, I'd recommend that.
Excellent. Kevin, thank you again, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And we're always here for you, of course, and really looking forward to 2025 and seeing what kind of differences we can make in the community together.
Same here.
Excellent. All right, guys, y'all go to Instagram and give our buddy Kevin here a follow, and then come check this place out first chance you get. And, hey, Christmas is coming up. Do y'all do gift certificates?
We are going to have a pretty good gift card sale, which we do every year, and probably within the next 3 or 4 days, I'll be announcing that.
Excellent.
So, either get on the mailing list or follow on social media, and you get the details there.
Excellent. There you go. Heard it here first. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for being with us today, and we'll see you next week. Bye. All right. Guys, gals, thank y'all for joining us for yet another episode of the Fort Worth Roots Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, we do a morning show as well. You can catch that Monday through Thursday. And we are covering information around the Fort Worth area. And I'm telling people as far east as Grand Prairie, as far north as Denton, as far south as Burleson, as far west as Weatherford, Texas, that, in our opinion, is the Fort Worth area. So if you have an event, if you're an artist, if you're gigging, if you have a birthday, we don't care. This is a community service. We want to be one of the connecting fibers inside the Fort Worth community. So we've been doing this for 5 years already, 1 episode a week, and it's been a challenge. It's been a struggle, but we love doing it, and we've met a lot of amazing people along the way, and we decided that it was time to double down. Triple, quadruple, how many? Anyway, a lot. We're doing 5 episodes a week now. So 1 regular episode, like the one you heard today, just now, and 4 extra episodes that we do in the morning, released by 8 a.m. and available to you, I believe, first on Spotify. But it does show up on all the different platforms as they update their directory. We launch it at 8 a.m. every morning. So you can get it on all of your favorite streaming services at some point throughout the day. If you want it first, if you need it early, you can get it at Spotify, or you can go straight to the source. You can go to our website, fortworthroots.com. And if you have an event, if you are a musician, you got a gig coming up, you're an artist, you're an author, you're anybody creating something here inside the greater Fort Worth area, send us an audio file of you talking about the event and email it to media@fortworthroots.com. Oh, man, it's been a busy couple of weeks, and there's a little bit of a backlog here, so we're going to put the pedal to the metal. We're going to start releasing several episodes a little bit outside of the schedule because we've missed a couple of weeks. But thank you guys for coming out. I just want you to know that I am so grateful whenever you guys show up to one of these events. A lot of times it feels like yelling out the window into the abyss or whatever, whenever we got one of these events going on. So whenever you walk through those doors, whether it be the Christmas party, our weekly comedy show, whatever, whenever you show up for one of those things, I just want you to know it makes my week, my month, my year. Thank you. We do a lot. We do a lot of events, so I don't expect you to make it to all of them. But just know that I am very grateful to those of you that show up, show your support, be part of the community with us. Thank you. And for those of you that have events going on and you want me to show up, holler at me. Let me know. I do my best to make it to as many events as I possibly can because I know how important it is. I know how much it means to the people putting these things on. So let me know if I can ever show up. Maybe I can't stay for the whole thing, but maybe I can take some video and just show people that there's things going on in the community and they should be proud that we have such a vibrant Fort Worth culture. And that's my goal whenever I show up. Maybe I can't stay the whole time, but I do want to point the spotlight on you and give you props for putting on a show, an event, a gig, because it's time consuming. It takes a lot. So anyway, thank you. And we will have more awesome stuff. 2025 is going to be insane. The music series that we're compiling for you for this upcoming season is going to start in March. It's going to roll through October. We're going to have 3 bands on stage at each one of these events. We did 1 band on stage in 2024. We're going to triple that. We're going to put together a bill every month, and we're going to do it hopefully at different locations. I've already got like 4 locations, and I'm still looking for a couple more. Right now, we're in the planning phase. We will be in the planning phase through January, I'm sure. But I want to make sure that the details are wrapped up no later than end of January. So anyway, if you are a local business owner or just an individual and you would like to help support the Fort Worth Roots podcast, our music series, the Fort Worth Roots brand, let me know. We do need sponsors. Getting funding is always the biggest issue. It's the hardest thing to tackle, and it takes up a lot of time. And once we reach our financial needs, then that just leaves more time for creativity, getting out there and supporting the community, hitting up different venues and showcasing local businesses. So I'll be glad. I don't know if this day ever will arrive, but I will be so thankful and glad whenever we reach our financial goals so that we can keep the show going. And I don't have to really worry about finding new sponsors. And we can just keep going with the creativity and supporting the community. That's going to be a really awesome day. So speaking of, let's get into these sponsors real quick. Our newest one, Fort Worth Float Company. Is your day filled with noise and distractions? Whose isn't? Overstimulating sounds and activity. Our daily lives have become overwhelmed with tasks and responsibilities with very few ways to shut off the world for a brief moment. Welcome to Fort Worth Float Company. They specialize in providing sensory deprivation flotation tanks, providing the ultimate relaxation experience, offering various pricing and packages. And I think they have 3 tanks now. This says 2 tanks. I think they might have 3. Anyway, we'll say 2 for now. Fort Worth Float Company meets everyone's floating needs. One of the float tanks is it's a room. Inside of a room, but there's enough space in there for 2 people to float together without touching each other, I believe. It's huge. I got a video of it on our Instagram where we have one of the customers is actually sitting in the big one telling us about why they do the float and what it means for them or how it's helped them with stress and other issues. So anyway, it's cool. I've done it. It's been years since I've done it. So I am actually going up there today to schedule an appointment with Fort Worth Float Company because I'm ready to get back in one of those tanks. It's a pretty cool experience. If you haven't done it yet, you should definitely try this out because it's unique. And you know what is life except to experience as many unique experiences as possible. Experience. There, I said it again. All right. Fort Worth Float Company, and you can find them as that name on Instagram and Facebook. They're located off of River Oaks Boulevard. What's a good landmark? If you're on River Oaks Boulevard, you're driving away from the main entrance of the base towards the stockyards. It's on your left-hand side right as you come into River Oaks proper. There's a 7-Eleven on the left-hand side that used to have gas pumps but doesn't anymore. And the River Oaks sign is on the right. There's a shopping center right there, Eduardo's Bakery, and I believe a State Farm agent, and there's a couple other little shops there. But you could miss it. You could definitely miss it, but it's kind of set back off the road. You can see it clearly, but there's a big parking lot in between the street and the shop. And inside, from outside, it doesn't look like there could possibly be this much going on in there. But lots of room for activities. They've got an infrared sauna, a cold plunge tank that whenever I was there the other day, it was sitting at 44 degrees. He said typically it's a little bit lower than that, but he had just changed out the water the day before, and it was still chilling it. So, and then they got the float tanks. It might just be 2 float tanks. Maybe it is. Anyway, one is like regular size float tank. Looks like a little spaceship. And then maybe that's what's flying around New Jersey right now. Those aren't drones. Those are float tanks. Maybe. And then the larger one. So anyway, go check it out. Tell them that you heard about it on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. And maybe we can work out some kind of little discount for you guys. I'll talk to them about that today. But this is cool. I think everybody should try it at least once. If not, plugging it into your daily routine. But I think spinal decompression is probably going to be my big win there. If you got back problems, this seems like it would be a really good way to alleviate back issues. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Check it out, Fort Worth Float Company. Hoppin, we do the morning show every day, well, Monday through Thursday. Every time you hear us pop on for the morning show, we are at Hoppin. It's a brand new place. Nobody knows about this yet, unless you've come out there to see me. But it's only been around for about 4 months now, maybe just shy of that. But they got 58 taps on the wall, seltzers, wines, beers, all good stuff. Local stuff, craft stuff, and some mainstream stuff like Lone Star. I know you can pour yourself a pint of Lone Star for like $1.80. So cheap. I don't know of a cheaper place in town to get a beer. But it's not just about cheap beers. They got all the good stuff too. And then they've got a full cocktail bar with our buddy Ray, most of the time, is behind that bar serving up some badass drinks. So there's drink specials, I think, every day. I know that Monday is service industry day, but I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, Michael was telling me that every day is service industry day. If you go in there and you tell them that you're service industry, I think you get a discount. But Mondays, it is clearly listed on the schedule. Monday is service industry day, 25% off. So I don't know. You do the math on that. Lone Star, $1.80 for a pint. And then go ahead and take 25% off of that. Bro, it does. I don't think it gets any cheaper. So anyway, it's a badass place. Let's stop talking about how cheap it is. The patio outside has a fire pit. We had that thing blazing on Saturday right as we were wrapping up the event. Always something going on out there. Michael and Holly, I need to get them in front of the camera because they are the two nicest people. Very sincere folks. Got a new baby. Just family people trying to do a cool thing in Fort Worth. And of course, just like every other business in town, they need your support. So come on out. I tell people all the time, I'll have an armband on. There'll be music on the stage. I'll be buying drinks for the band. I'll be buying drinks for Megan, buying drinks for myself, and I'll walk out with a $20 tab. It's crazy. So if you're looking for like a low-key way to just have a cheap night with a lot of fun injected into it, this is the place. We do a comedy show there every Wednesday now. Let's see, the last Wednesday show is going to be on the 18th, and then there's 2 holidays. It's Christmas is on a Wednesday, and the New Year's is on a Wednesday. So we're going to skip those 2 and then fire it back up in January. Every Wednesday night is comedy with our buddy Anthony Reyes with Cockpit Comedy and a bunch of just hilarious guys from all over North Texas coming in to do an actual comedy show, and then we roll right into kind of an open mic setup. We've got myself and Tony off to the side of the stage, and as the comedians get done, we do just a really brief interview and then call up the next comedian. It's a lot of fun. People are really enjoying it, and if you're looking for a way to get out of the house on a Wednesday night, we'd love for you to stop by. It starts at 8. We got Mama Lou's Kitchen on scene, slanging that excellent Fort Worth delicacies. I don't know if she's made this announcement, so I don't know that I can say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. She might not be doing a whole lot of tamales in the future. I don't think she's ever going to get away from it, but she is trying to diversify her menu because she said she'll get up at like 7 a.m. If she gets up at 7 a.m. and starts making tamales, she can have a batch done by 10 o'clock at night. It's a lot of work. And I had somebody come up to me at the last comedy show, and I was like, "Did you get the tamales?" And they were like, "Man, I can't. I'm not going to spend that much on the tamales." So she had other stuff that you could order, and it's equally delicious, but it's not tamales. And so the price point, even as at where she's got it, people are complaining about the price being too high for some of those tamales, even though she has other cheaper options. So because of that, and because of the just absurd amount of time it takes to make these tamales, she's going to start diversifying her menu to kind of get away from tamales. I'm sure she will still, don't freak out, I'm sure she's still going to do tamales. But what she's telling me is like, you don't make any money off these tamales. You can't. It's too much. It takes too much time. So anyway, all that to say, there's still going to be great, excellent, wonderful delicacies from Mama Lou's Kitchen. But the tamales might be a little more scarce. I'll keep you up to date on that. But she will be there. There are also other food options. We want you to eat Mama Lou's on Wednesday night, but there's also other food options at Hoppin when you get there. And of course, it's bring your own food if you'd like. You can order something from M&O Grill right down the street. Bring it with you. Literally, you can walk there. It's right there, walking distance. Or Maple Branch, 1 block north of us from Hoppin. Excellent food there too. And Maple Branch will actually deliver it on a golf cart. You can order it from Hoppin and they'll bring it over. But get it in your head, Mama Lou's on Wednesday nights. And we want this to be the new Fort Worth home of comedy on Wednesday nights. We'll let everybody else decide where the home of comedy in Fort Worth is any other night of the week. But on Wednesdays, we want you with us. And that's for comedians and people that just like to watch people bomb. It's my favorite. We've actually had a lot of really good comedians up there. Not a lot of bombing, which is disappointing. But every once in a while, we get somebody that just really, really bombs. And that is so much fun. All right, so that's Hoppin'. It's next to Doc's Records. It's wonderful. Come see me. Come check it out. I don't have to be there. You can go without me. It's a great place to unwind for your next big event. Yeah, they do a lot of stuff for events, too, also. So, what is this? Why is that showing my phone number? That has my phone number on it. Call during our recording. Oh, because we're talking about the show. Yeah, I do the morning show there. So anyway, if you ever want to get your information on the morning show, you got an event happening around town, call us at 817-988-1292, and you can leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the show. I'd much rather you do it the right way. Take your phone. It's got an audio recorder on it, and just record yourself talking about your event. And then take that file and send it to me, media@fortworthroots.com. Okay, onward. The Davis team. Need information on how to build wealth through real estate? Maybe you're getting ready to buy or sell a home in North Texas? Look no further than our friends at the Davis team. They've already sold 2 homes for us at the Fort Worth Roots and helped us find and close on our most recent home purchase. We wouldn't have accepted any other offer of sponsorship from a realtor in Fort Worth because in the back of our minds, we would have always known the best was still out there. No commitment necessary. If you have questions about property, then visit them online, yourdavesteam.com, or give them a call, 817-755-0504. And I mean that. They sold 2 homes for me. And I've got stories about what happens whenever you have an agent that either doesn't know what they're doing or maybe they're too busy to do their job right. But the Davis team has, it's either 12 or 13 full-time agents on staff, and everybody has their own lane. So you got one person that handles this, one person that handles that, so on and so forth. And the end result is you've got no matter what you're doing, no matter where the market's at, your best chance of selling or buying a home is with the Davis team. End of story. Again, that's yourdavesteam.com, or give them a call, 817-755-0504. And they're not just there to sell and buy. They're also there to answer questions. So if you've got a property question, give them a call. They'll help you out. Amplify 817. Craving quality music right here in Fort Worth? Visit amplify817.org to browse and stream a growing collection of commercial-free local music wherever you are. Do your ears a favor and discover your new favorite local group today on amplify817.org. It is a service of the Fort Worth Library, sponsored in part by community donors to the Fort Worth Public Library Foundation, which pays local artists up front to feature their music on the platform. We love that. They don't have to wait to get 100,000 downloads before they see some money. Amplify 817 pays them up front. Shout out to those people. Good folk over there at the Amplify 817 office. Galaxy Wilderness Disc Golf. My buddy that runs this business over here, Galaxy Wilderness Disc Golf, me and him go way back. And he's just a good dude, a family man, and was trying to find a way. I feel like most business owners get to this point. It happened to me too. I was doing something else at a different business, and it was killing me. It was driving me nuts. So I went and found something that I really love doing, hence the Fort Worth Roots podcast. But he went a different route. He went with disc golf, and he is extremely passionate about this. And he's got all sorts of cool options. Basically how it works, you contact him, you tell him, hey, I got this thing I'm doing, whether it's XYZ. I want you to bring out your disc golf stuff and set it up for me so we got somewhere to play disc golf on my property or at this event space or whatever. And say you need it for a day. Cool. He'll come out there, set it up, and then when you're done with it, he'll break it down and take it with him. They've also got night disc golf where the baskets glow, The discs glow. It's really, really rad stuff. So probably not something you ever thought of. I wouldn't have thought of this either. But this is a really cool addition to any event that you might be having. You can have it for multiple days. You can have it for, I believe you can do it for just one day. But anyway, highly customizable. He's got course options, and he knows how much you can pack into a certain space. He's got an eye for this. So, if you just want one basket, I think he's got a program for that. If you can handle 10, he's got a program for that. Their number is 682-228-0399. You can also get them through the Gmails, galaxywildernessdg@gmail.com. You can also get them on Facebook. Just look for Galaxy Wilderness Disc Golf. Cool. The Body Scrubbery on Instagram as The Body Scrubbery. Online at thebodyscrubbery.com. Also can reach them by phone for appointments, 925-808-8222. A boutique and unique spa experience. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. Luxury foot spa, full body scrubs, infrared heat wraps, massage, bubble tub, mud wraps, facials, couples packages, and small group parties. Go online to find the Book Now tab at thebodyscrubbery.com. We've got videos of this place on our Instagram and our TikTok for as long as that's going to be around. Looks like we got about a month left before TikTok gets the plug pulled. Anyway, go find these videos with me and Michelle goofing around. I'm going to try to post another one today. But it's such a cool little spot, and it's off of Pennsylvania Avenue, right down there, close to the South Main area. I guess that is South Main area, but it's not on South Main. It's on Pennsylvania. Anyway, rad little spot, wonderful place to relax and get yourself some of that, what do you call that, personal care that you probably need. It's also a great gift idea. If you're struggling right now, we're in the holidays, you're trying to figure out, oh my God, I need just a few more gifts. What am I going to do? The Body Scrubbery is a great option. Consequently, our buddies at Fort Worth Float, they also have some Christmas deals going right now. All of our sponsors would be happy to fix you up with a gift for your loved one. So keep them dollars local, man. The Body Scrubbery, located at, I don't have the address in front of me. It's off of Pennsylvania Avenue, South Main area. And their website is thebodyscrubbery.com. Go check them out. Flurry Fitness, they're on Instagram as Flurry Fitness Fort Worth, located at 643 Sherry Lane, Fort Worth, Texas, just in front of the military base next to Target and directly behind the Waffle House. Let them know you heard about them on the Fort Worth Roots podcast and see if they're still running a special. When we started this up, they were going to waive your sign-up fee. I don't know if we're still doing that, but it's a cool little spot. It's a great workout. Put the gloves on, hit that bag, and go through one of these guided cardio fitness classes. It's fun. It's a great way to get your blood pumping and do the whole exercise thing without really feeling like you're doing exercises, I think is probably the way I would put that. But it is a rad little concept. And our buddy Andy over there, if he hasn't already done it, he was talking about getting ready to launch their second location. And they've only been doing this for about 2 or 3 years, and they're already working on their second location. So they're doing something right. That's Flurry Fitness. Find them on the Instagram as Flurry Fitness Fort Worth. Boulevard Brew. Our buddy Brad over there is always ready to open his doors and get you some wonderful coffee treats. They've got food items, gluten-free stuff on the menu, which is a big hit with Megan and the rest of our gluten-free community. I call it the mullet. It's business in the front, party in the back. You got the coffee shop in the front, and then on Friday nights, they've got live music, taps on the wall, and I don't know if he does cocktails or not. I know he's got craft beer and wine available back there. I'm going to go ahead and say no on the cocktails. I don't think he does that. But good options on beer, great options on wine, and it's the vibe, man. It's a good little chill spot. I go there most Sundays, and I'll post up in there, and I will get so much work done. Just something about the cozy environment and me being in front of the laptop at a third-party location. I seem to get more done in a short amount of time right there at Boulevard Brew. It's a cool spot. Okay. Go check that out. River Oaks Boulevard, 5406 River Oaks Boulevard, in between Atomic Then and Now and Josephina's Mexican Cafe. And tell Brad you heard about it here first. boulevardbrew.com online, and it's Boulevard Brew on all the social medias. Eaton Data Solutions. We work to have relationships with vendor partners who specialize in different methods of vulnerability detection and management, so that we can offer enterprise tools and solutions to small and medium-sized companies. What does that mean? Mr. Eaton, Richard Eaton, has been doing this kind of work for Fortune 500 companies for a very long time. What happens is these cyber assholes will come and they will steal your data, they'll encrypt it, and then they'll try to sell you a code to get back into your files. Now, this is a problem because we're talking about everything from baby pictures, payroll, tax information, everything. If it was stored inside a thing, they got a hold of it and it's theirs now. And sometimes if you pay for this encryption code, you'll get your data back. And sometimes you won't, and they'll just run off with your money. But if they do give it back to you, they're going to try to do this entire maneuver again to you or someone in your network. It just doesn't stop. And it's bullshit, but it is a real thing. And you'd hear about this like IBM or AT&T, the big companies. Well, now they're targeting small businesses, and I'm a small business, so probably need to go ahead and schedule an appointment with our buddies at Eaton Data Solutions. You can find them online at eatondatasolutions.com. They have a drop-down menu for schedule an appointment, and trust me when I tell you that if anybody could protect you from this type of malarkey, it's our buddy Richard Eaton at Eaton Data Solutions. All right, Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck. Roofing Solutions can help you with residential or commercial roofing needs, locally owned and operated. They're insured, and they carry out just about every kind of roofing project you can think of. They can help you go through the steps with your insurance company, and they can do all the stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, here's what you need to know. You're not going to think about a roofer until it's too late. That's a fact. We live in North Texas, and these roofs get damaged daily with the extreme heat, the wind, tornadoes, hail. This is the trifecta right here in North Texas. This is one of the hardest places to have a roof. You really need to get somebody up there once a year and do a roofing tune-up. And that sounds real pitchy, real salesman-like. But what they do is they get up on your roof. Are you going to do that? Because I'm not getting up there. They get up on your roof and they take a look, make sure there's no damage that's going to allow water to get into your home and destroy everything that you hold dear. But they're also going to seal up your pipe jacks. That's a thing. If you can picture the caulking around like your windows or anywhere you see that kind of sealant, after 12 months of getting beaten by North Texas sunlight, that stuff starts to crack and peel and chip away. Well, and then the water gets in, and that's bad. You don't want that. So doing these little roofing tune-ups can save you a ton of money down the road. Our buddies at Roofing Solutions will give you 50% off one of these roofing tune-ups if you just tell them you heard about it on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. Their phone number is 817-882-6520. RoofingSolutionsHouck.com is the website. And the reason I was like, blah, 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 who cares? Because they do everything. They do residential. They do commercial. So what other details do you need? The other details you might want are the ratings. You can go on Google or any other rating service and see that they carry the highest rating in North Texas. There might be some other ones out there that are comparable, but probably not the same way that Roofing Solutions is, because not only has he been in the community for 15 years and worked up a stellar reputation with the local community, his dad did it before him. This whole family has just been taking care of people's roofs here in the Fort Worth area for a very, very, very long time. They've got a brick and mortar location. You don't see that very often with these roofers. It's right at the corner of Yale and Meandering, just inside the River Oaks area. And on top of that, they're great people. I was with Darren and his wife yesterday up at Hewlin Mall, supporting the Gladney Center for Adoption and the Heart Gallery of North Texas. Darren was dressed up like Santa Claus, and he could not get like the mustache part of the beard to stay on his face. It was adorable. And his wife was dressed up as Mrs. Claus. I'm telling you, these folks are they're the best people. I'm so glad that I met them. And whatever they do, whether it's fixing people's roofs for a couple of decades or whatever else. I'm here to support these guys because you don't meet good people like them very often. Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck, 817-882-6520. Woodpost Metalworks, online at woodpostmetalworks.com, specializing in metal signs with or without LED backlighting, fence and gate repair and installation, light steel fabrication, industrial plasma cutting, and more. Use special code podcast817 at checkout for 10% off. If you guys are driving by the Fort Worth Roots Podcast Studio, which is consequently attached to Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck, how's it go? Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck. Anyway, we're on Yale and Meandering. We got one of these big old badass Woodpost Metalworks signs hanging off the front of the studio, and it's been really cool. I wanted this so bad because we have street curbside, people drive by, and so I wanted a big old pretty sign, and it took us a while to scrounge up the change for it, but we got it, and it looks amazing, and it hasn't faded a bit. It's just sitting there doing its job. I think that's been there for a year and a half now. And I mean, it looks flawless. They did such an incredible job, and the owner is very creative. And I was able to give him just kind of a rough idea of what I wanted, and he put it together, and it looks great. It's Woodpost Metalworks, and they can either make you a big badass sign for your man cave. Most of what they do are for local businesses, putting up signs on big buildings. So. Whatever your imagination. If it needs to be industrial plasma cut, they can do it and do a great job in the meantime. Houck Walker Originals, started by David Walker and Angie Houck Walker. They both have creative original ideas. David, because using, I took this off their website. David uses the lathe to create pins, bottle stoppers, bowls. David was taught to be a wood turner by his grandfather. Angela loves to paint. Use a kiln for glass fusing, and many other crafts. Go to houckwalker.com and take a look at all the cool stuff they got. Keep the Fort Worth dollars in Fort Worth pockets, I always say. Just kind of scanning through here. I feel like, where is McFly's? McFly's is not on my list of things that we need to talk about this morning. McFly's Pub is a 1980s Back to the Future themed bar. It is located down the street from the Fort Worth Roots Podcast Studio, and it is one of the best places to catch a live event. This weekend, if you've been listening to the show, I might have talked about this already. You might have heard me talk about it. They call it Crazy Midget Wrestling, and I only call it that because that's what the entertainers call it. It is their show. They do the marketing for it. They got to choose the name, not me. It was the craziest turnout I've ever seen at anything ever to happen at McFly's. The parking lot, there was not one spot where you could have parked a moped. It was packed, man. And it was really cool. It was so cool. And I got to talk to some of the athletes, and just the coolest, funniest people you've ever met, man. And I hope I get to see that again real soon. I asked around. I talked to some folks. They said these guys are straight out of Mexico. Like, it's not something you can see every week. So I don't know, man. I talked to Dan, the new owner out there at McFly's, and I was like, man, we need to have this every night of the week. He's like, I know it. So that'd be hard to do, but so cool. So very cool. All right. I'm going to have to go through this list again to make sure I'm not missing anybody, but I think we got everybody. I believe we did. And then we've got some new sponsors right around the corner, dropping at the beginning of the year, just waiting on some final details. A friend of ours has a new business that he is putting together. I can't wait to tell you more about this. But for all of our musician friends out there, if you have a business and you need customized, he's going to get on to me if he hears this. I don't have a list of everything he can do. Basically, he said if it's got a large enough surface to put your logo on it, then he can do it. But something he specializes in is T-shirts. But not only that, he's going to be putting together websites for folks and just trying to be a one-stop shop for the small business owner, the local musician that needs these things. He's going to do it all. So really looking forward to the launch date for that. Need to get some more details from him. I don't think he has a name for his company yet. But he's already building a website. He's building the Fort Worth Roots podcast website, and I told him to keep podcast out of his mouth. Don't call it a podcast. We've been doing too much to keep calling this thing a podcast. All right, folks. My God, this is the longest outro I've ever done. We're at 34 minutes. I really appreciate you. I want you to know that with all sincerity. Oh man, it's been a wild couple of weeks. Just had a death in the family, and I just want you guys to know that I am very, very grateful for every single one of you that has helped me get through this Fort Worth Roots thing. It's been an uphill battle every day. I don't know if it looks like that from the outside. I certainly hope it doesn't look like that, but damn. It's a whole thing. Anybody that's in business for themselves, they feel the same way. Check on your small business owners. They're not okay. But thank you. Thank you for listening. If you've ever shared a post, if you've ever come to one of our events, if you ever hit that like button, thank you. That's it for today. And I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys.